He didn't, like I said, in our stream, he didn't mention that. He was really quick to get on there and talk about stuff that was, like I said, it wasn't relevant to this case. But he and I'm gonna touch on that, GSR, is that he came out and made this video about like he had this past or whatever, and it was supposed to be to justify that everyone has a past and it doesn't mean anything. But like I said, he definitely, like I said, just off the video alone at face value, he definitely omitted information. And then even after talking to his sister, after she saw the video, she flat out told me he was lying about it. So even the video that he put out, he lied about what was going on in that video. But like I said, it didn't have anything to do with this case. But I can tell you that based off the charge, it was fraud of all things. Imagine that.
Not being honest.
It was fraud. And it had to do with money. But it didn't have anything to do with this case, and that's why, like I said, I didn't say, okay, this is why you're doing this, because you did this. I didn't have anything to go off of. I was just going off of what you were saying, and I knew it was false. And the fact that he wouldn't speak to me spoke volumes, because he knew how close I was to Moses. Even though he tried to discredit me on his channel, he told me one thing and told his following another thing, which is petty, but it just, like I said, the things that he's accusing people of doing, he's doing. So let me just show you something else. This is kind of disturbing. I crossed out some of the stuff, but let me just show you some of the links that this guy is willing to go to make sure that he has the only voice. And like I said, when I said I didn't want to speak about this no more, I really didn't. But like I said, he wants to keep going, and I talked to his sister about it, and I actually had asked his sister and his aunt, like, how did you guys feel about it when I first came out and was speaking about his story? And they actually were just blown away by it, that there was somebody that was willing to talk about it, because they were just getting bombarded. Like there was a lot of family tension over this, and just somebody that knew and was in talks with all the parties involved that was willing to speak on it was a big relief for them. So when we started talking about this stuff, it's like I said, as far as the truth is concerned, I want you guys to know, when he comes out here and he says that there's been $400,000 of money spent on damage control, I have no idea where he got that number from. But I can tell you this, like I said, he's the one that is doing the damage control, because one of Moses' close friends, I don't know if you guys saw him, he was the mall cop, the security guard in one of his videos, that told the 4 bags of rice story. Is that the one? When he had the 4 bags of rice in the apartment on Brown Street in Akron?
Yeah.
So that's Herb Gucci. That's the guy I mentioned that was a 20-pluser in the video. And he came out on one of Mark's videos and just flat out called him a fraud. He's a criminal, and don't trust this guy. And Mark threatened to sue him. And he's a family man, and he got scared. And me and him were in talks, and he said, I talked to my wife, and she suggested that I back off because, they know what kind of guy they're dealing with. And like I said, he mentioned that he likes to create frivolous lawsuits just to turn people's lives upside down, just to create bills. And, he has kids too, so he didn't want to deal with it. His sister Shawnee, the one that you guys saw, posted comments on his YouTube videos. He threatened to sue her. But she knows him, and she that's not going to work on her, but he threatened to sue her. And then when I came out, he threatened to sue me. And I was like, for what? You don't got nothing. You actually talked negative about me and lied about me. And I called him out on it and corrected him. And when he sent this message to his sister, that's when I realized, like, we're dealing with a different kind of individual. So I want you guys to take a look at this. So before we went live on May 8th, he got wind that we were going to go live, and he knew that I was in talks with the family. He knew. So he somehow thought that, my sister Shawnee's going to go on there and say stuff about me, because he knows how much dirt she has on him. So this is the message that he sent her. Okay. God, this thing. I'm
Hey,
struggling.
hang on a sec.
Okay.
Pause it real quick. You need audio, right?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
So you guys see that? So he sent this message to her, and then she sent it to me, and I'm sitting there reading this, and I'm going, who the hell is Pamela Goldwater? And then when she told me who it was, it's Mark. He's talking about, he made this person up out of thin air and threatened his sister that if she went on the live stream with me and Marcel, that he was going to go on here and discuss a public matter. And I bleeped it out because it's actually just horrible as a family member, talking about one of her kids because he thought that his sister was going to go on there and talk about him in the live stream. This is what he did. So when he sent this, can you guys see that?
Yep.
So he sends this message threatening his sister, right? So then he turns around, and then when she told me that it was him, here he is. So he made this person up out of thin air, talking about that I've been supporting you and your brother, but if you go on Marcel's channel and go live and say anything negative about Mark, we're going to have to discuss this publicly. So she texted him and said, why are you sending me this bullshit? And then he responded to it. So here he is talking about, he's corroborating the text message that he sent, claiming to be somebody else. So that's when I realized we're dealing with a different kind of mental illness here. When you just make somebody up out of thin air and try to scare a family member who's not even scheduled to go live because you think information that's going to come out and make you look bad, you're going to these lengths?
That's pretty ridiculous. That's the most.
And and so like I said, I blurted out what he said, but he was talking about one of her daughters, and it's just flat out just outrageous. I couldn't believe it but then when I thought about who we were dealing with, I said, okay. So that just shows you the lengths that he's willing to go for him to tell the only story. And what you guys got to really, really think about is, blood is not thicker than water. Sometimes, I'm sure you guys out there have family that's closer to you that you made, meaning like your friends or, somebody that's that you have like a long history with, that you trust with your life over your own family member. That's just the way it is. And he's using that credibility to push this story because he thinks that the weight of him working out in a gym,
Cooking
food,
cook meals for you. I dressed you.
taking him through the courts.
Stuff that doesn't cost anything to do. Yeah. Like I dressed you like you're not his wife.
Building up the muscles that Renee was laying on.
Yeah.
That he is the one that has the authority to tell his story, and that everyone should just believe me because we don't know what we're talking about, and we're lying, and we're all in on it, and we're all paid, but does not have one shred of evidence to prove any of it. And here it is, like I'm giving you guys all this, and I'm not asking for nothing because this is what I know my best friend would have wanted you guys to have. Because trust me, if he was here, if he would have, came out of, wanting to deal with this, it would have been a lot worse because, he's obviously a content creator, and you guys saw what he did in the hotel videos. He's, he's lucky that I wasn't involved in the language following, because we would have been 100 times worse in them hotel videos if I knew what was going on and I was involved in that.